Bedvoma Studios.
Welcome to the first episode of Souls Off Script, the podcast where friends throw the script out the window and just talk, like I'm about to do right now. Joining with me today, I have my man, Derek, Darnell Parker Jr., and Sleepy Jr., 34, aka Denzel. Today we're going to be discussing 4 different subjects in this segment. We'll be talking about pastries, gun laws, fake college shootings, and mental health. Now, the first person that will be speaking on this first aspect is my man Derek. Derek, will you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Derek Smith. Um, Grown up in a pretty crazy way in a pretty crazy world, and I'm here to talk about mental health. I'm here to talk about not only mental health in men, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I want to talk about how everyone's mental health kind of has this snowball effect that goes into one another. Um, yeah, men's mental health is a big deal to me, but a lot of it has to do with the women he like. If a guy's involved with a woman, it involves his woman's mental health, because if her mental health isn't good, how can she be supportive for her man's mental health? Or if a mother's mental health isn't good and a father's mental health isn't good, how are they bringing good mental health attributes to their children? So it all it all snowballs into one another, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to talk about, not only because men's suicide rate is higher than everybody else's, yes, but the women's attempted suicide rate is double or triple what the men's actual suicide rate is. So it's not just the men's problem, it's also a women's problem. And I wanna bridge the gap. I want to begin to understand better how men could show up for women and women could show up for men, so we can start changing the dynamic and trying to, save men, save women, save our children, save our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, you know for time to come. So, and that's really what it is for me, is just trying to help people live better lives. That's about it.
To add on to that, for the people that will be watching this, mental health awareness is a huge reason we started this podcast. And it wasn't just my idea, it was everybody's idea into this. Um, it's not just for everyone, it's especially for men, like he said. Um, and it's something we want to normalize in all aspects of life for everybody. We want to make this a common thing for everybody to feel great about, you know, talking and reaching out to everybody.
It's it's
Um,
about it's about teaching people to it's about teaching people to feel good about their progress. I deal with a lot
Absolutely.
of people. I have a lot of friends that they're like, man, I've only lost 8 pounds in the past 3 months, and it's like, man, that's 8 pounds down. You could be 8 pounds heavier. You know what I mean? You're comparing yourself to like the race that you have to lose this much weight in this much time. Man, it's baby steps.
And
As long as you're
also,
moving in the right direction, you're moving.
and also, um, it is also why our logo is the way it is right now, because it represents the suicide awareness with the teal and purple.
That's it.
It spreads the reminder of suicide awareness. And anyways, let's move on to our next guy, my buddy, my brother, Denzel. Introduce yourself.
How y'all doing? My name is Denzel Poole. I will be sharing some facts and a little bit of knowledge that I've gained in my time doing what I've done in the world, military, blue collar things, family man, those kind of things. I very much believe everybody should be very in tune with their rights. I believe every house in America should have a gun. Now, let's get this one thing very clear. My guns were lost in a training accident. All of them. There is none. None. But with that being said, we will talk about that today. So, we're going to go over one amendment that I think all of us should know, everybody that's listening should know, and I'm going to read it verbatim. There is no other way to read this. This is how it goes. A well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What does that mean? I don't care what they tell you. I just told you what it says. It shall not be infringed. Cool. What's some gun laws? I can't speak for all states, but I can speak for my state, Florida. Some of the laws that we have are as follows. So, in order to get a gun, you have to be over 21 years old. I'm sure we all can agree that's about the time. You know what I mean? You do not need a permit. There's no permit required to buy a firearm. None. Not in Florida, at least. Check your states, like I said. Waiting periods. I know we've been in a world where they're saying waiting periods should be longer, they should be shorter. I'll leave that opinion to you. But waiting periods, there's a 3 day waiting period. That's just what it is out here in Florida. Nevertheless, flex that right because they will try and take it from you. We've all seen that. All right, next thing we go get into is a little bit about the best gun practices. This right here, this right here. Y'all see that? That
No,
right there.
shift over a little bit.
Hold up. Hold up. Bow. Bow. See that? See that? See
Ah,
that?
there you go. There you
Bow.
go.
See
Down. Get
that?
in there. That bow.
That right there will end your life. You walk in my house.
Oh wow. That was
That is what it is. That is what I'm trying to
Woo.
tell y'all. You do not fight anything bad with a Bible.
And we drank to that.
It's not a thing. So what do? The best practice is whenever you go to get your gun, say you got your gun, you're ready. You're in your house. What's the best things you can do? I'm a father. First thing I do, it has to be somewhere my kids can't touch it. That's first. First. Everybody in my house needs to know how to work a weapon. Not just pull it. No, there's more to it than that. Later on, some later
Hmm.
sessions, we'll get into that. But knowing your weapon is a huge thing. Um, knowing your weapon overall. That's a huge thing going on right now because this magazine is from a P320. P320, remember that. Anybody can look this up. There's a whole thing going on right now about P320s and it going off. I don't care your take on that. I have never seen a gun just go off by itself. Never. It will not happen. Argue with somebody else. It does not happen. So,
Hmm.
with that being said, we'll move on to gun deaths versus everything else. What is the number one cause of death in the U.S. or in the world? In the world, it's not guns. It's not people. It's disease. It's disease. The top 10 things you can't do anything about. You can't. It's just disease. After that, we'll talk. We'll talk more into the mental health slash gun ownership slash stuff like that. Mental health itself does things that I cannot begin to tell you how it feels. You have to be in it to understand it. Um, having a weapon and having mental health issues can be a bad thing, but that's why we have people like we have sitting here today, to talk these things out. Uh, According to my research, and I wish I could show you all this, but from what I know, the majority of gun deaths are what you think? They just shooting people? They nah.
Accidental.
It's suicide.
For real?
It's suicide.
Suicide.
No,
Yes,
Um,
I would have
Suicide by
never
handguns.
figured.
suicide.
Suicide
So
by
these
handguns.
people
So
will tell you guns are bad.
Mhm.
Okay, guns are bad. Put a gun on the floor, see if it goes off. It's not a thing. People are bad. Mental health is
Mhm.
everything.
yep.
So, Mr. Denzel, can I ask you a question? I
Come on with
remember
it.
you said about the infringement of your gun rights and I guess home safety. So everyone in the house should know how to use a weapon. I
Mm-hmm.
agree, but believe that like different states have different legislations that makes it kind of difficult to protect yourself even in the home. I read a story where a young lady was being robbed and she shot both of the young men who broke into her house, and now she's facing federal time, well, federal charges, which are murder, of course, and she was doing nothing but defending her home.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, where do you think she went wrong in the defense of herself?
Can I?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there. Go ahead.
Can
Go
I?
ahead.
So the first things first, you have to know your local legislation, right? Because
Mm,
in the state of Florida, right, your 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 hands are tied in certain situations. Like if somebody's robbing the store in the state of Florida, considering that's not your place, that's not your domain, like that's not your home, that's not where you reside, you're not supposed to intervene in that kind of situation. Whereas in
mm,
Indiana, if you're robbing a store and I see you're robbing a store and I can possibly save the clerk or other people's lives, I can take care of that situation and I won't face any jail time.
Yeah.
You
I've
have to
actually heard of that.
you have
Hmm.
to know your local legislation, right?
Yeah.
You have to be up to date on federal laws as much as your local laws because it can be anything from like city to county to state to federal. It could be a lot of things all in one thing. So you got to be knowledgeable and you have to be
Right,
able to
right.
assess the situation and know what you are and are not allowed to do in that. Like there was a guy in Indiana. He went to the mall with his daughter and his wife, and then even though it was a gun-free zone, he kept his on him. All right, but the thing is a guy came in there, started shooting, and the guy took care of the active shooter, but because he had his gun in a gun-free zone and shot the shooter in the gun-free zone, he was facing charges, and the judge threw him all out because he
Mm,
was like, "That man saved lives."
So that's
right,
my thing
right.
right there. So
Yep.
Hmm.
in order to have a gun, there's a special kind of presence that you have to keep with yourself. The
Hmm.
presence of knowing that you right here by yourself, all these people right here, if it go left, all of them go down. If
Hmm.
that be the case,
Mm,
you
Hmm.
have to be able to
yes, yes.
justify what you did. You, like he said,
Exactly.
know your laws, know where, be aware of your surroundings. Don't ever
Look,
initiate a gunfight. Don't ever initiate a fight in general. But a gun is not nothing to play with. We know that. But knowing those laws is gonna save you. And even I know. Just because you in the right don't mean somebody else gonna see it that way. The best thing I've
Right,
had
right.
my brother tell me in a situation like that, whatever happens, it happens. You call 911
Mm,
first thing.
It's all
After
states
that,
right.
mm,
you do not say anything about what happened. Nothing. You say something happened at this address. That is it. Why? Because interpretations can be used against you. Court of law, you said X, Y. You don't want that.
Well,
There's
they say
ways
everything
around
that
that too. There's
they easy.
ways of getting specific lawyers that deal with gun things. My brother has one. If he shoots somebody right now, he has a lawyer to for that whole. There's a lot of things. You can't count out anything. It all can go wrong, but the best thing you can have is all your ducks lined up and fight it in court. That's unfortunately the world we live in.
and
Level
the
mm.
problem with that is right is that 80% of these active shooter or uh, these mass shootings and all that good stuff, 80% of it happens in gun-free zones, schools,
Oh.
schools, businesses that are gun-free zones that have signs posted out front, churches, grocery stores, any kind of places that can be a gun-free zone is
Right, right, right.
automatically higher on the list, so to speak, because they're going in knowing most of the people in there are going to be unarmed, if not all of them. So of course, you know what I mean. So
The safest person in a gunfight is the person with a gun.
mhm,
Remember that. The
mhm.
safest person.
But doesn't wait, hold on. Wait, but so the person you say the safest person in a gunfight is the person with the gun?
Yes.
What
Think about
about
it.
the active shooter? I'm just saying, like,
No,
what
no,
about the
you're
active
right.
shooter?
You're
He
right.
also
100% right. I see you. So, in an
Right.
active shooter situation, to me, there should be somebody around with a weapon ready to take care of business. There
Mhm,
should be. Is that always perfect? No, because of schools and
mm-mm.
like there's a lot we got to do with schools. I believe
mhm,
there should be a veteran at every school. I
mhm.
believe.
Absolutely.
But until that happens, I can't speak that way.
Mm.
In those
Mhm,
situations, the bet like what they're teaching our kids, I don't necessarily agree with because I don't agree from anything.
Hmm.
But I
Right, right,
do
right.
understand those teachers, if anybody, should understand gun
Mm.
usage, gun safety, and whatever happens, these people are over our children. They should be able
So
to. They
Right.
should be able to defend them, but you have to have proper screening. I think because
so Denzel,
everybody's not the
explain
same with a gun. They're not. These
explain
kids
to
are
Absolutely.
Yeah.
me
things.
exactly for instance, if somebody numerous people, let's say maybe one or two people come and rob your house, and mind you, you're in a city,
Hmm.
Mhm,
and they come and raid your house.
Hmm.
You have, in your mind, you have every right to do what you need to do to stand your ground.
mhm,
Yes and no.
Say, for instance, you're in an apartment complex.
It doesn't matter where you are. If someone
Yeah.
mhm,
threatens your life, I don't care where you are. At least in Florida, if they threaten your life,
mhm,
that's basis one.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
You can say whatever you want to. Get that out your head. If they say it, cool, whatever. But be ready to act on those words.
Right.
Simple as that. If you own a gun, if you're willing to tote a gun, if you're willing to do everything it takes to have one, understand what it comes with.
mhm.
Don't be flaunting it off.
Responsibility.
That's some kid type. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
not it.
Nope.
You just have a better
Having
chance of
guns should
on
be
tomorrow. Duke it out.
an informative thing. It should be a learning tool. It should be something that brings everybody closer together because they understand what it does. They understand if needed to be used, they can use it, and they understand all the history and things they need to know in order to have this in their vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
With that, Charles, I'll yield back to y'all.
All right. Thanks for that. That was a great segment. And back
Love
to
it.
Derek as well. Beautiful segment, okay.
Appreciate it.
Um, speaking of guns, this correlates to what Denzel was just discussing. Um, have you guys heard about the reports of the school shootings at college campus across the nation that have turned out to be a hoax?
Oh,
I haven't heard anything about it.
yeah. Yeah, I heard a few of them.
Yeah,
A couple of loonies trying to be extra loony.
Well,
That's all.
a couple
I
kids
didn't know
thinking it's
who thought
funny.
it. I didn't know who thought it would be funny to prank call the police saying that there's an active shooter on campus,
Uh,
mind you. But apparently, that's becoming a big thing.
Trying to cause
Mind
panic.
you, mind you, during the first 2 weeks of colleges, starting for the fall semester, at least 22 reports of active shooters have been made. And all of these have been fake, mind you, fake.
Right.
Something called swatting, which is pretty much when somebody prank calls emergency services in the aim of provoking the police to come in out in a full force.
Right.
I think
I'm
so.
me as
With
a
the mental
person.
health thing, I really think that correlates to that. I really
Mhm.
do because it's been proven these people are out of their mind. Like children
Yeah.
too. Mental
Yeah,
health. If your
it
mom
takes
and
a
daddy ain't there
crazy
doing their
person to
job,
mess
what's
with you.
gonna happen?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I think some of them just want to feel some type of rush. It's exciting to them.
Or
And
maybe they
it's
just
Well,
want
something
well,
that
attention.
so,
keeps,
what if it's not even that?
yeah,
All right.
that's
So,
exciting.
what if it's not even that? What if it's not even when you look at like the '90s and the early 2000s, a lot of people that were getting bullied in the schools were turning around, going to become police officers just so they can switch the power dynamic, right? We got to
Seen
look
it.
at the mental health of people that are getting bullied, right? And how they're like, I'm done getting bullied. I'm gonna take this and take care of all my bullies. That way, they're never
Exactly.
bullying me again. It's
Okay,
it's really a mental health epidemic, but it's also a dangerous thing, right? Because
wait,
if we open up, give me 1 second. If we open up the Second Amendment to be criticized and be like, okay, now we're going to do mental health evaluations. Well, if you're doing mental health evaluations, 98% of people living in the U.S. currently that are middle class or like lower are
Mm-hmm.
not going to pass a mental health evaluation because we're all like struggling to even like put food on the table for our kids, for our wives, for our
right.
for whoever, for ourselves. And so like we that's the thing about like right now they're calling for assault rifles, even though that's not what they are, but they're calling for assault rifles to be banned whenever assault rifles aren't responsible for
No.
90% of the gun deaths right now. They're not.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? But if
Wait,
they
hold
take
on. So I wait. I hate to cut you off. Wait. So what I was trying to do, what I'm trying to understand, like I'm not disregarding that is a very it's very factual. But Charles was talking about like the faking the cause of a shooting, not
Hmm.
actually shooting. So even
right,
though that it leads in all mental health, I think you're gearing to more why people are shooting rather than why they're faking phone calls for the shootings.
Mm.
right, right, and you're
Just so
All
absolutely
they ain't
right.
got to
correlates.
But
actually do it. It's just the scare tactics of it.
Yeah, it's a
right,
scare
right, right.
tactic, and
Yeah. So
that
yeah.
is
Yeah,
more like it's giving more of like adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Oh, they want to
It-
see action. They
It's a
want to
it's a,
see the
it's a
call
power
of
shift. You know what I mean? It's a
But
power
yeah.
shift.
so what's the difference between this generation doing this and ours?
Yo,
Well, back in our generation, they'll take a call like that and they'll laugh at it because they never expected it to happen. But from the 2005 all the way up until 2015, and even now, we have more shootings actually happening. So when they get those calls, they have to act on them. Rather than in the 90s, they get a call like that, they'll say, "Stop playing on emergency services," they call it a night. Now they actually have to get out of their bed,
mhm,
they have to
Mhm.
mobilize. They actually have to be able to check to see if this is like valid. Because if they don't and people die, they get blamed. So it's a severity because it's the cry wolf situation. How many times can a group of people cry wolf until boom, no one is actually coming, and then one day somebody actually dies, and what then? You know what I'm saying?
yo,
So
yeah.
it all can go back to like a power, but I think there's more like adrenaline. Like people want action, they want the crime, they want the mystery until they're a part of it,
But
and
but
it's not a
until
game.
until until like until we know for sure, until like we can like see the data and the evidence right in front of us saying, hey, it's because of the adrenaline and not because of this. I don't want to I don't want to like downplay anything quite yet because I want to know. I want to take the time to like discuss that with you guys on this podcast, and so we can all get educated on how we can start fixing that problem
Yeah.
and making adjustments so we can start like saying, hey, you know what I mean? Like this is the mental health problem that's statistically correlates directly with that, and how can we start bridging that gap so we can start eliminating this problem altogether? You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? It's all about for me. It's all about reversing the process. So back in back in 2008, they started the study for the suicide rate in men, right? And in
Mm.
2018, they finished it. And it had in 2018 they did a study that it was 79% of the total suicide rate was men, and that
Mm.
from the year 2008 to 2018 it had risen at a rate of 2% per year. All right. Now if from 2018 to now to the year 2025, all right, if it continued raising at the same rate of 2% per year, then this year would mark the 99.9% suicide rate being totally men.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So
So what's
a,
happening?
a lot of this stuff that you're seeing is getting worse, and I find it oddly weird that it has a
Mm,
correlation with, like, okay, all these problems are arising, but what's also rising around that? Let's look at the women's attempted suicide rate rising, right? The single mother rate rising, the 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 single mother in the African community, African American community rising, right?
mm,
Let's look. I don't want to like talk about just men's mental health. I mean, yes, that's I'm a man. I want to talk about that because I'm familiar with that. But there's a lot of things that come into play on these playing fields that we need to know more about.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with parenting. But what drove the parents to be less attentive? Like, is it their depression? What caused them to be in their situations to where their attention shied away from paying attention to their kids' mental health and making sure their kids were okay? You see what I'm saying?
See,
Like,
you said it. You said it. So the thing you looked at with like single households, you know what I mean, like single dads,
mhm,
single moms, stuff like that.
mhm,
The
mm,
difference in the households that I have seen, this is just me, a man and woman, especially ones that, you know what I mean, 2A positive, like showing their kids things, you're not going to have this issue. Why? Because
right,
somebody's going to teach you this is what
mm,
it does, this is why you don't use it, this is where it is. You can't get to it.
right,
At least that's how I've seen it. Now, think
mhm,
about that in a single parent household, men or women.
yep,
So, think about us as men. If you didn't have your daddy around, or some father figure of the sort to tell you no, I'm just saying. So, I'm not saying it can't be done single, single family household. You know what I mean? I'm not
yeah,
saying that. But
absolutely.
I am saying two voices are bigger than just one.
Hmm. And I want to build on that as well. And I don't want to take away from, like, single moms doing what they need to do or the efforts they make, because like, my mom was a single mom and she did the best she could. But for me, the way I see it, right, is it takes a man to raise a man, it takes a woman to raise a woman. All
mm.
right, like, it's a dual threat kind of thing. Like you can't put a man or put a boy in a house with all females, get raised around all females, and expect him to be like the best man to be a man whenever he comes of age to be a man. You know what I'm saying? You need someone to lead by example. You need to learn what not to be or what to be or whose steps to follow and who's not to follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just, it doesn't work like that, because only men can teach men how to be men,
I agree.
in a
I
sense.
agree.
So,
I agree.
I agree with that. And back back to what I was saying just a moment ago. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry, Derek.
yeah, all right.
Uh, with that swatting, which is pretty much the prank calls and stuff, they're wasting time and resources.
Mm-hmm,
And what is so bad about this is all this stuff. It sounds so real. Like, it sounds so surreal
Yes.
that people are actually falling for this stuff. And the
mm-hmm,
recording
Yeah,
sounds
because
so real,
mhm.
and a lot of them even have gunshots in the background, which is even crazier.
mm-hmm,
Along with
They're doing it in
candid
groups.
videos
mm-hmm,
leading police to believe that there's a real active shooter on campus.
mm-hmm.
They're
And
doing
I
it in groups. They're
do want to play a clip, but it's just going to be an audio that happened in Arkansas University.
come on, come on. I like this.
All right.
We can see he's walking towards the library right now. He just shot. He just shot.
Okay. Is he still on the second floor?
No, we saw him
Sit down at
through
command
the
staff now.
window.
Okay. Okay, just stay on the line with me, okay? We're probably about
He
to.
walked.
Haley, get a command staff message sent out now. Okay, just stay on the line with me, okay? We have units coming your way now, okay?
He just shot again.
Okay, do you know if anybody's been injured at this time? Just say shots fired.
No, we're not too sure.
Okay, just stay under the
It
desk,
was at the
okay?
first level. We're on the second level. Okay. I will be coming in from Logan.
Okay.
Going Avenue side.
Okay. Just stay on the line with me, okay? We have office.
We hear doors. I hear doors opening.
Okay.
Shot inside. I think he's on the second floor.
Second. Okay.
Oh, my phone's about to die.
I don't like that at
Now,
all.
clearly, when you hear that audio, it literally sounds legit. It sounds
Yeah,
like there's an
it
active
sounds like
shooter.
somebody's actually going through. Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
sounds like
that's
he's
crazy.
in fear for his life. Now,
And
clearly,
what I,
that wasn't the case because obviously,
it was no. What I will say, that does sound like someone who has a mental issue,
yeah,
but
it
I don't
does
think this
100%.
person is going through anything like stressful. This just seems to be somebody that gets a kick out of fucking with people.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. And that's absolutely atrocious and disgusting. There's no excuse
Mhm.
for that.
But
You can have a tough, you having a tough life doesn't excuse putting people in a cause of chaos, nor
mm,
does it give them any excuse for doing something like this. Like
right,
And
you
otherwise,
can be
somebody's
under a
father is
lot of
going to do you
stress.
bad. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
people need to
yeah,
realize, like,
no,
there's real moms and dads out here that's really about that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all have heard, at least there's been some schools here that's like, you can't take your phone. I don't
mm,
care.
Mhm.
If something like that happens, would you not want your kid to contact you? What would you do?
absolutely,
exactly.
100%. I would be fearing for my child,
Exactly.
and
So,
I'd
as
want to
parents,
know
as
how my
people
kid is
who
doing
actually
or
care,
where.
like, that's something, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something to
Mhm.
ignore. It
Right,
like the fake phone calls to tell me one of y'all gonna call. You 17. You getting
Right.
bullied. You calling who?
Mom and dad.
well,
That's all you can.
I mean, that's the logical thing you're gonna do is call mom and dad.
Okay, so we just established your mom and dad is home base.
Mhm.
So obviously, it means he.
It's something at home, bro, and it hurt me to
Yeah.
say that. These kids is something at home. I can't.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
but let me back up. Let me back up. Let
yeah.
me back up. It's something at home or something at school that's that bad.
Mhm.
What
Mm-hmm.
if it's bullying?
I mean,
Fine. If it's bullying, fine. We went through that. We've seen it. Cool. Whatever. There's different ways to handle it, but us as a generation, from what I remember, we had people there to tell us no. But what are the kids today doing? You can't tell
Mhm.
me what to do, and they not wrong. But at the same time,
No.
if you are not, if you don't humble yourself,
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I
of
mean.
course the
Humble
of
yourself.
of course I mean the police came in, lights and everything, guns swarming the schools and stuff, and they found out that the actual shooter wasn't a threat at all. But it was a waste of time, waste of resources, nonetheless.
Right.
And
because somebody
it,
could need help somewhere else.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
of course, it caused a panic for the students, teachers, and staff members as they were getting emergency alert texts from the school telling them to avoid the area, which is crazy, crazy.
Right.
Deny
Like, bro,
anyone entry to where they're hiding if they can't get out safely, defend themselves if approached by a shooter. What's even crazier is how random and widespread these calls are coming in. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna give you guys some facts about some other calls at different places that correlate with this. So August 21st, calls from Villanova University and the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, one of which was at the campus library. Gets crazy. August 24th, calls from the University of South Carolina, Villanova University, and Louisiana State University, Alexandria, one of which was at the campus library. Seeing the pattern?
I know about that one.
August 25th, University of Arkansas, University of Colorado, Boulder University of New Hampshire, Iowa State University, Northern Arizona University, and Kansas State University, all six at the campus library.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
August 26th, Central Georgia
Mm.
Yep.
Technical College, University of Kentucky, and West Virginia University, two of which were at the campus library.
That's it.
Aug-
That's it. We have a correlation there. The
August
Mm-hmm.
campus
27th,
library.
Auburn University, Texas Tech University, one of which was at the campus library.
Right.
Because you can't trace a call from the library. It looks like it's
August
coming from the
28th,
school.
Also,
University of
because
Baylor.
schools and libraries, like local schools, local libraries, all gun free zones.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's, you know,
It goes back to like I said, people don't kill
that,
people, or
it's
guns don't
wild
kill
to
people.
me.
People kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that
That's simple.
Mm.
these people are actually smart enough to actually understand. Oh well, you go to a library, you can't get caught.
It's a prank. It's a prank.
Yeah,
That's what it is. It's like from each case, them going to the library to do it. It's them being dared by other students. Oh, he actually did it. Like these kids, they're being kids, but every generation they find one thing that's just dastardly to do, and they all do it as some type of scare tactic. I think it was like for us, we had like Bloody Mary going in the bathroom and flicking off the
Yeah,
lights, or
Mm-hmm.
throwing people head in the toilet and stuff, like pantsing people, dropping their pants and stuff, like who's gonna push the teacher. These things escalate over generations because they try to outdo the ones before them. I'm not gonna deny like there is probably some mental health that goes into, because maybe they're so, or like they're urgently urged to impress the other students by doing something like asinine. But
yeah.
I just say like it just seems like these kids just, it's boredom. They don't have nothing to do, they don't
Yeah,
have outside
that's what
lives.
it boils down to.
It's boredom. Like we had more things to do because we didn't have as much technology. But now that technology takes over, you're at college, you're texting, you have nobody's picking up. So you know what we're gonna do? Me and my friends gonna get in some trouble. That's what it seems like to me, but
Yeah, but
it's still disgusting.
what's as crazy is that it's colleges in 16 different states receiving calls about
Yeah,
active shooters on campus, and
Mm-hmm.
16 of
they're
those
daring each other.
22 calls all reported the shooter in the library. Wild. I don't know what any of this means, but it's definitely something worth noting.
Right.
Yes, yes,
What's
very much
even
so.
crazier about all of this is that now there's an
Mhm.
online group called Purgatory who highlighted news media coverage about the hoax on Telegram and is suspected to be connected to several of the episodes. The
Oh
same group
wow.
was connected
We
to
had,
bomb scares and fake shooting reports in early 2024, which
Yep.
three men pled guilty to earlier this year. This purgatory group went on to brag and say they could arrange more swatting for a fee. For $95, they would have a school swatted.
that's crazy, bro. If
120,
you didn't,
they would SWAT a mall.
that's crazy, bro. Like if you didn't have enough time to finish your report, just ask for more time.
yeah.
But getting the
That's it.
whole school shut down, it's crazy.
I mean, pulling the
That's
fire alarm,
crazy.
maybe. Like I've seen that. Like that was about as far as we went.
Yeah. Hey, if I don't get this start today, I'm gonna fail. Let me get this place swatted so I have more time to finish the
Bruh,
report.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and
Absolutely
but
ridiculous.
that's been a
My
real
mama
thing
would
for a
never.
long time because like a lot of people like whenever they go to take the SATs, whenever they go to take their their tests or their finals and stuff like that, like man, I came in unprepared, I didn't study. Let me go ahead and call this in. That way, I can push it off a couple days.
Yeah,
So
So like, that pressure be a lot from
Grant
like
you.
moms,
the
dads,
fact,
and schools and shit. You know what I
mhm.
mean? So I feel
That's a
like
good diversion.
that's a
That's a
huge
wonderful
diversion.
diversion.
But
the
even
fact that
so,
they
That's
have
like
a
if you think about it, if they're trying to call off all this stuff, I feel like there's not enough in school to keep kids busy. Like I think we were saying, but you got to think what back then did we have? Trade schools, IT stuff, like all this stuff. And it's
mm,
been said years and years that oh they need trade schools, they need that. I feel like those kids are the same kids like I was. I didn't learn right in regular school. Trade school was
mm-hmm.
Right.
hands on.
Trade schools,
I feel
hands
like
on.
there's
Love
not
trade
enough
school.
hands on.
mm,
They need to bring back
Absolutely.
that
The kids don't learn
100%.
like that in the box. This
Right.
shit ain't changed since school started, like ever.
All they
It-
do is literally just they. just up these kids up. They put them in these pavilions, places called academy, and hope
Hmm.
that they,
It's a jail.
yeah,
It's
pretty
literally
much
a jail.
is. It's an academy, and they expect
School
they'll
is
get
jail.
better in there. That's like I'm not gonna say this analogy, but it's kind of like dogs. When dogs get aggressive and stuff, they try to split them apart, and then they get aggressive, and then you put the little aggressors towards the aggressors in the same little pit, and what do you expect that's gonna happen? They're gonna fight
Well,
all
it's not
day.
even that, right?
It's the same
Schools
thing.
schools teach conformity, right? They teach falling into line, right? A lot of
Mm.
like the core curriculum isn't what you want to learn; it's what they want you to learn, right?
Mm.
It's what's been determined that you're going to learn, and any deviation of that is considered um, what are they in like in anime and stuff like that? You would call it not canon. You know what I'm saying? It's inaccurate.
Mm.
It's uncredible. It's not a credible source of facts or data or history or anything like that. So
Mm.
it all correlates and plays into one another because when you teach everybody to conform, like college wasn't originally a thing except for people being taught, hey, wake up early, show up, stay late, study hard, go home,
Mm.
right? And then after college, what happens? It's not necessarily that you got a degree. It's that over the course of 4 years, when you hand your resume to this person, they saw for 4 years that you showed up, right, in a timely manner.
So
You
Mm.
studied hard, you stayed late, you worked as hard as you could, and you went home. And you did the same thing the very
Yeah.
next day,
with a grade.
consecutively for
Sounds
four
like to
years.
me the organization boils down back to the high schools.
I
That's what
mean,
it
The,
look,
the
you
sounds
gotta,
like.
you
school in
gotta
general, bro.
back in like
Schooling.
I think it was back in like 2018 they started talking about taking the Holocaust out of history books, the Trail of Tears out of the history books, right? We're deciding what is relevant history to teach our kids instead of saying, hey, here's all of it in a consensus. Like, my son came home one day. He was like 6 this time. Came home with an Indian headdress on and said, I learned about the Pilgrims and the Indians and how they had dinner together and they were friends. And I said, buddy, that's not exactly what happened.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, this is actually what happened, and I want you to know that because if we forget about things that happened in our past, we're doomed to repeat them in our future. So we
Mm-hmm.
need we need we
I
need to
feel that.
learn. We need
Sounds like
like
smoke and mirrors flawed
yeah,
history.
Yeah.
yeah. So we
I mean,
we we
it goes
literally.
back to the parents thing. I mean, if your daddy didn't
Mhm,
tell you, don't get on that bike like that, you going to fall.
mhm,
But you get on the bike anyway.
right.
You didn't have no guidance to what you was about to do.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm. That's
None.
the thing that I've got. It's in schools no more.
Like, I think schools themselves are a joke. I
Oh, 100%.
mhm,
burn me at the stake for it. They're a joke. After a certain amount of time, kids only need to know your basic math, your basic
Mm-hmm.
science, your
Yep.
language. Language should just not be a thing. Like, you need to know how to talk, stuff
Like,
like
dude,
that.
tell me, Charles, explain to me one time that you've used trigonometry since you've left high school. Don't worry, I'll
Never.
wait.
Never.
I have, but it's different for me. Like,
They don't
everything ain't
teach.
gonna
They
apply to
teach
everybody.
everything that you don't
Well,
expect to be
what I'm
taught,
saying is
but they don't
statistically,
teach
right?
the real.
Statistically, you took this math class for what, a semester or two. All right. Have you used it in a timeline relation? Have you used it for at least a semester or two in in your whole life since
Nope.
you've learned that?
Well, I gotta say I have. It's a little different for me though.
Right.
You know
But
what I mean?
I
Like
guess
it
it
with
is.
with
it
with
depends
the
on
with
job
the
what a
specific
job you
job
get.
correlation,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like
It's so job
you're
correlation. So why are we sitting here teaching these kids
mhm,
about if you do this to a little volcano like this?
mhm,
I get it,
yep,
but what's more
yep,
important? Knowing this, you put these two things together, it's gonna blow up. That's cool, but understand in about 5 years, you gonna have to pay taxes.
mhm.
Y'all had a
I
tax
know.
course?
See, I went to trade school too. So I was learning how to build a house. I got homies that were learning to weld. I've got buddies who were learning to take engines apart and put them back together again to make them tick. You know what I mean? Like it you're teaching things that apply to the real world, like in a way that is beneficial to like thrive in the real world. I haven't used, like, I learned chemistry, right? I learned biology and stuff like that. I mean, I've planted a couple plants, but besides that, right? I haven't felt the need to mix up certain things and cause certain things, like, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is teach, like you said, teach us certain things up to an extent, and after that start giving us things like teaching how to balance a checkbook, or teach us how to do repairs on your household, you know what I mean, or repairs on your car to maintain it, or um, teach us how to better, like, instead of like throwing everybody in the real world and like, hey, I'm Democratic, I'm Republican, how about we have this conversation and try and meet each other in the middle instead of being at ends whenever we're grown-ups and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we sit down and be
Can
like,
y'all,
okay, hey,
can anybody hear me?
yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear you,
We
dog.
Okay.
but no,
Okay.
I
But
get it, bro. Like, so back on that school shooting thing, I feel like kids are held in jail too long. I feel like the curriculum itself isn't to benefit children to grow.
mhm,
It's to put them. So what you're doing every day is going to work. Sit
mhm,
down, shut up, do this. You do not get any help. When in your
mhm,
life at work have you not had help?
yeah,
Like that doesn't make sense. Why are we teaching them this?
mhm,
Okay, like you said, trigonometry. Let's go ahead and learn you up on this. Well, I'm about to clean sewers for. I don't need that. You
right,
know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
them things have never made sense to me. So
right,
why are we
Well,
teaching kids this way and it has not changed since school started? Phones
yeah,
have
right.
wait,
changed,
hold on.
pens have changed.
Are,
School don't
mhm,
change.
are we talking about are we talking about high schools or
Just
colleges?
schools in general.
Just schools in
schools in
general.
general.
It's a general like
Because
so I get like K through you know what I mean, like 5, 6, 7.
K
That
through
stuff
12, yeah,
I
K through.
get that.
Mm.
But after that, what are you doing?
Mhm,
So you're
Got
gonna
a point.
pollute our children's mind with more things they're not gonna need.
mhm,
They're
yeah,
actually not prepping them for life. They're prepping them for the eventuality of going to college. Because all of this information won't be necessary for someone that's not pursuing college.
yeah,
But
Exactly.
someone that is pursuing higher education, knowing stoichiometry, knowing trigonometry, all of that is necessary
Yeah.
in order for you to pass the
Yes.
curriculum that you're going into.
But see,
But
that
for
boils
real
back down
life,
to what they're doing.
That's why most.
they're not. It's not realistic. Not
Uh,
everyone wants to go to college. No, not
Right.
everyone has the funds to go to college.
hmm
But they're moving you
They're
forward
forcing. Yep, they're forcing you to
as though
do
you
all this
have
stuff.
that info. Yeah, but that's why it's also important at the household to teach your child about avenues of income they can pursue. A lot of
mhm,
Yeah.
communities get into the aspect of letting the school system teach our kids, and when they turn 18, letting them figure it out. But if
mhm,
you can have a template for them to build off of, even if that's not the goal they want to go to, they'll have a trade that my dad taught me that I can balance off. They'll have a trade that my mom taught me that I can balance off. So you can end up having some form of knowledge and income in the real life situation. School at the school, like just going to school, it's more like that's for education purposes for those kids that want to go into college. Since we have to put kids to school, we have to let them go. But as a parent, even if you say, well, I don't have the time to teach my kids, you have to make time.
Mm.
Having children is a responsibility and you have to make that time.
mhm.
It's unfortunate, like, what I'm saying, we don't have villages to teach anymore. We
No.
have, towns, and towns are more home based.
So
So
unpopular opinion for me, and a lot of people are going to have something to say about this. But when when I was a parent, I won't go into like the all that stuff. But when I was a parent, the two boys that I was raising at the time, I told them, like, listen, if you ever think I'm doing a bad job, or I'm incorrect in something, or if I'm not understanding, or if you have a problem with the way I'm navigating something, tell me. I want to be a better parent. I need to know, what's on your mind. I want to better understand you. I want to let you know that I'm not always right. Sometimes, yes, I need to better understand the situation before I open my mouth. Sometimes I, need to understand, what drove you to make the decision you made prior to me dealing you out punishment for you doing something bad if I don't understand that it wasn't something bad in your head. I need to, and a lot of parents are like, oh, I'm always right, you're gonna listen, da 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 da. And it's like I think that mentality is training kids to, okay, if I know you're always right, why should I even talk? And that's
Mm-hmm.
training people to,
I'll just do what
withhold.
you're doing.
And
You're right, right?
you know what I mean? Like,
That's
and
a good
that's
way of
and,
looking.
and that and that's the thing is like, okay, if I'm gonna be wrong, why should I even
Mm.
speak? And then you adapt that mentality and you apply it to other things. And it's like, okay, instead of like talking about my emotions or talking about, my mental health or talking about these things, I know that I'm gonna be wrong for voicing these things. So why even voice them to these people?
I mean, that goes
It's a
back to the
That's
school thing, like
that.
we were saying.
Yeah,
Like in
yeah,
school, raise your hand. When the last
yeah,
time you raised your hand?
right,
Like, bro, it don't make sense to me.
Right.
Like
right,
as a father, and I
Mhm.
can say this from the bottom of my heart, I've sat down and like been disciplining my kids in midway. Like, wait. How did you see this going?
hmm,
Like, what were you thinking, dude? Like, actually ask the question. What were
yep,
you thinking? But
Hmm.
then there be them times you sitting
Ow.
there, it's like, no, he not. I see what he was thinking, and he wasn't
right,
wrong. He just executed it wrong.
right,
Okay, cool, not a problem. Little fix. But
yep,
having kids that are
Oh
free
yeah.
thinkers,
yep,
I wasn't like me. You like to a certain extent, you weren't allowed to be a free thinker.
yep.
Like I know
That's
it's
it.
good for you, and I trust
You,
that. But you have to explain why.
yo,
Because if somebody else explains, it's completely different.
yeah,
Being parents is hard. Like
yeah,
the job itself is hard.
Parenting is hard. Yes, it's a
yeah,
hard job, and it's sometimes thrust upon us in ways that we weren't expecting. Accidental parenthood is a thing, even though I don't understand how, sexual intercourse should always be a choice, but sometimes, we have situations where people aren't, in the position to choose what happens to them.
hmm,
So when you are a parent that, that are in the circumstances like that, then it's understandable that,
hmm,
that they don't know how to parent correctly or they don't know how to parent very well.
right,
But choosing to bring a child into life, you should always be prepared for the whys.
hmm,
Like when you say you can't do this, why can't I do that? Because a child is a curious thing.
hmm,
And they're always gonna ask, they're not questioning you, they're questioning the reason why. Because when they're 25 and they say, "Hey, why don't you go there?" Well, because my mom said I couldn't. It doesn't make sense anymore. It's
Yeah.
always good to give a child an understanding of why. Like you said, well, in my head, I see how this you thought this was gonna go, but it's your execution.
Mm.
And then you talk to him about, okay, I understand what you were doing, but the way you went about it, and that's when the punishment comes in, not for the action, but for the way of you doing it.
hmm,
And it's not like that way it's not perceived that, oh, he's just doing it out of spite. Well, my parent is doing this because I did this wrong and I
right.
did it this way. So next time in this situation, I could do something different to get the same results. And then there's nothing wrong with that. I
Right.
agree, 100%. Well done. Clap.
Well done.
That's it.
Well done. Let's go ahead and start with Chubbs. But before I do, to what I was saying from before, I don't know why this group has started, but this, and I will say this to the camera and everybody else that will soon be watching this, this needs to stop.
Hmm,
It needs to stop. Real or fake, it needs to stop.
yep.
That's
I
all I'll
make a
say
call
about
to
it.
all fathers, all of you, every one of
Yeah,
you,
I
every
challenge
one of
all
you.
real fathers out there.
Like
Hmm,
Y'all need
I
to do
don't
something
care
to make
if
that
you a father
make
tomorrow,
it
if you've been a
snap.
father for 40 years. This is grown men who's been boys before saying
hmm,
this. Listen, like we all got room to grow. We
that's
all
it.
got room to grow. Our sons and daughters are important. And if
Yep,
we don't do it, who else will?
yep.
Very, very much so.
It's your mission. It's
I
your
agree.
duty.
That's it.
Take care of
Exactly.
them kids.
Please, please put down a beer and stand up, sir.
That's it.
Now off the serious script. Let's get into Chubbs' take. Chubbs. Chubby.
Yeah. Oh,
Introduce
y'all,
yourself, baby.
it's Big Chubby Chubbs in the building. So, how y'all doing today?
What it
So,
is.
I want to cycle off kids being bored and doing random stuff. Cooking is a good way to alleviate stress if you can. And, even if you don't like cooking, it's always a good sweet treat. You know what I'm saying? Pastries all over the world have been something to alleviate stress, depression. Well, done moderately, because I do not want to eat yourself into a coma or, excessive weight. But what I will say that, people love to eat sweets. So I just wanted to do like a pastry of the week type situation. So me and my own adventures, going around in New Orleans, I've been trying different restaurants from different cultures. Like it was a Turkish pastry called a baklava, which is very delicious. I had some churros. I
Mm.
had some French, it was French crepes. I believe they were crepes. They
Mhm.
were pretty delicious. And I also had a new flavor. It was a glazed beignet. So I usually have something like when I do like a demonstration or I'm bringing in a presentation of something, I usually have like the pastry that I want to eat in front of me, but it got ate. It was just sitting there. So we have to segue a little bit, people. So yeah, I just wanted to bring in like positivity because I know some of these points we were talking about have been a little bit, risque, as some would say, is just a little extra, depressing. Prank calls could be a little bit, up there. Gun violence is definitely serious, and mental health should always be in the forefront of everything.
Mhm.
But almost everything could be like alleviated. Little, pastry, a sweet snack that you can all, everybody has their Debbie cakes. We have our honey buns. We have the sweet things that we like to eat, our ice cream, your favorite flavor or whatnot. So even though ice cream is kind of not a pastry, but you can put ice cream in a pastry, so that makes it like a pseudo pastry. So yeah. But what do you guys like to eat? Come on, I want to have an open discussion about what makes you happy when it comes down to like a food base and
I'm not gonna lie.
like sweets.
Zebra
I
cakes,
used to
dog.
love eating
Mhm.
churros.
True.
Sure.
And some
Them
trips for the
churros
first time. They were
every
delicious.
even going to Disney World as a kid, my first
Oh,
experience
you
having a
had the
churro.
crunch. Disney World make the best ones.
Nah,
Yes.
for me, it was Oreos and milk, dog. You take the Oreos,
You know,
dip them in the milk, leave it in there till the bubble stop. That's the stuff
You
right
know,
there,
listen
dog.
to the bubble
hey,
stop. You
Eh,
know what it
you
You
is.
know
got,
another one.
you
You
know
know
what it
another one
is,
that
dog.
snaps. You know
Don't play
another one
with
that
me, bro.
snaps. You know another one
Don't
that
play with me, bro.
snaps. You can
What's
find at the
up?
grocery store. You know,
What's
grandma
up?
cookie ones that you can heat up in the
yeah.
microwave.
Hey yo, hey
Those are
yo. I
fire.
feel it.
Yeah.
Those
Bro.
are
I feel
fire.
it.
Yeah. And don't you see how just even talking about those good things kind of brings a good, like, adjuvenating feeling? Like, look at everybody. We're smiling now. You know what I'm saying? We ain't as grim as we in the grim. Is cooking, pastries, making sweets, combinations of different cultures will always be something that, puts the mind at ease for a little bit and it takes you away from the situation or whatever you're going through. So the next time you just feel sad or out of the blue, I would always tell somebody, pick up a cookbook or order takeout. Just do it in a moderation because we don't need you being a diabetic.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? But
there ain't nothing I love more than cooking breakfast on a Sunday morning with some like blueberry pancakes. You know what I'm saying? Some chocolate
what?
chip
A
pancakes.
pancake it can be considered a pastry.
You
Yes,
know, I'm just
yeah.
saying,
Yeah, there
dog.
you go.
That
Yeah,
and some
that
good
makes you feel.
music. You know what I mean? Just cooking up in the kitchen.
Yeah,
That's
Charles
it.
ass having
yeah.
his Saturdays, cooking up everything because his ass just be cooking. I don't know why.
You cooking,
Seeing some things.
Hey, I do cook. I ain't gonna lie. I be cooking
right?
too.
Hey,
Right.
Charles be
yeah.
cooking though.
So I want everybody, I challenge everybody to find a place in their city or area that they live in and try your beignet.
Oh
That
yeah,
that's the pastry of the week. A glazed beignet or a powdered beignet. Go ahead and give it a try.
I feel it.
And tell me how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Write me a little message. Let me say, like, you know what? This pastry actually worked, Darnell. And I'm like, okay then, what I said. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. All about
Yeah.
smiles and, serotonin. A little up. Oh. But yeah, mine
Chubbs,
was short. It would have
aka
been a little
Mr.
bit long.
Sweet Treat.
But that does wrap up the episode of Souls Off Script. We covered
Episode
mental
one.
health, gun laws, hoax college shootings, and of course, Patriots. Thanks to my boy, Darnell Parker, hashtag Chavez.
Chubby
Thanks for tuning in and
Chubs.
going off script with us today. If you like what you heard, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes, which is going to be either here or
Or
down there,
plug down here,
whichever
plug up
way
here,
it
something like
goes.
that. Right up here somewhere.
Put a button
You
in.
know what I'm saying?
The more you
Follow
know.
us on social media. We have this is our next podcast date. Join the conversation and get a chance to enter some awesome giveaways, which we'll be having soon. We've got a lot more coming, more stories, more laughs, and definitely more pastries from Jones.
Definitely more pastries, dog.
This is Souls
Absolutely.
Out Script, and we'll catch you next time. And everybody say, deuces.
Yeah.